And joining me now is a very special guest tonight, former CTV News Chief Anchor and Special Editor, Lloyd Robertson. Mr. Robertson, thank you so much for taking out the time. It's wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you, actually. And please call me Lloyd, will you?
Lloyd, okay. So let's begin by asking you, it was in 2015, Lloyd, you spent a lot of time with Ian when you had a documentary on W5. Talk to us about the time you spent with him.
Had the privilege of being there at the ranch for a whole day with Ian. And you mentioned Neil Young recording that song, Four Strong Winds. Ian tells the story that the royalties from that one song helped him pay for that beautiful place he settled down in finally at Longview, Alberta. And it's a beautiful spot. And we were taken up to the little settlement house where he went occasionally to write his music. And there it is. And of course, he interpreted the Canadian West for people. And he captured the beauty of the Rockies, the beauty of the plains, the joy of being a cowboy. He captured all of that in that one little place, sitting there, looking out, with the Rockies on one side, the plains on the other, and that in the beautiful golden West. And that was the environment he loved. He wanted to return to that. He wanted to die there one day, and of course, that's what's happened to him.
That's what happened. What a wonderful time you must have spent with him. The fact the setting sounds so beautiful and mesmerizing. But let me also ask you, the guitar music did not come to him naturally. It was because he had some injury and he was on bed, and then the guitar came to him, and then, of course, rest is history. We know him.
That's right. And the interesting thing about Four Strong Winds in that regard is that there was a problem with the chords. They had a mistake in the chords. Don't ask me, I'm not music. I'll just what happened. But anyway, there was a mistake. But Ian's ear was so good that he said, leave that in. And that captured some of the magic of the song. And of course, it went on to be the biggest hit with Sylvia Fricker. But he was a very kind, thoughtful, very intelligent man. And I think he, more than anyone else, and he's right up there, you know, with the big North American greats like Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash. But I think he really understood the Canadian ethos more than anybody else in that part of the country, certainly. Because he lived it, he breathed it, he knew it. And he rode horses all of his life. And except near the end, and he showed me the horse that bucked him off late in life, and he said, so much for that guy over there.
Right. And there was so much zest in him, Lloyd, the fact that even though he lost his voice because of some medical procedure, music still continued. He continued to play the guitar.
He continued to play, and he continued to write.
Right, yes.
And writing was extremely important to him, because his last big solo album won a Juno. It was called Cowboyography. Was written in the late 1980s, and he loved that, and that was all about the poetry of the West and being out there, being on the plains, being on the back of a horse, what that was all about, what that life was really like. He captured that in that gentle, poetic manner of his.
If I had to ask you to sum up the legacy and the impact he's had on Canadian folk music, what would you say?
I think he captured the West for Canadians, no question about that, in folk music. He started very young. He came to Toronto, got involved in the coffee houses in Montreal and elsewhere, and Toronto too. And I think he grew his music with his own character, and it became a part of him after a while. So that there was Ian Tyson, there was the music, there was the West, all perfectly merged.
Lloyd, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your journey with Ian, and of course your thoughts on this day. Lloyd Robertson, a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.